Okay, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we are unpacking something absolutely life-changing, and that's the true scope of modern plastic surgery. Specifically, we're zooming in on the groundbreaking work happening at the Christian Institute of Health Sciences and Research, or CIHSR. You know, when most of us hear the words plastic surgery, our brains instantly go to, like, Hollywood makeovers. But the reality of functional and aesthetic surgery, especially the massive impact it's having on patients in Nagaland and the surrounding regions, is profoundly deeper, and honestly, infinitely more complex than that.
We've got a really great roadmap for today's explainer. We'll start with the aesthetic evolution, cover procedures and pitfalls, dive into the reconstructive pivot, explore future tech like laser and MAFT, and wrap up with a psychological impact.
Section 1. The aesthetic evolution, from taboo to mainstream. So here's a question we really need to ask ourselves right off the bat. Is aesthetic surgery just an easy lifestyle choice? Because for the longest time, there was this heavy stigma attached to it. We really have to challenge that old assumption that these procedures are purely about vanity. As the medical field has evolved, the line between just enhancing an appearance and fundamentally restoring a person's quality of life, well, it's beautifully blurred.
Think about it this way. Back in the 20th century, we started seeing surgeries on otherwise perfectly healthy individuals who just wanted cosmetic tweaks. Then the early 21st century hit, and boom, a total revolution of minimally invasive procedures. We're talking Botox, dermal fillers, laser resurfacing. Fast forward to today, and it is a massive, totally mainstream industry. The stigma is fading fast, which means patients can get these subtle, confidence-boosting improvements with barely any downtime.
Section 2. Procedures and pitfalls. The fine line of beauty.
When we talk about the heavy hitters, the procedures people seek out the most to enhance or restore how they look, the menu is huge. You've got rhinoplasty, which could be for shape or to actually fix breathing issues, breast augmentation, liposuction, facelifts, and hair transplants. These surgeries are tackling everything from natural aging to hormonal imbalances like gynecomastia.
But we definitely need a reality check here. Surgery is not a magic wand. Unrealistic expectations, or maybe going with an inexperienced surgeon, can lead to complete disaster. And a really serious concern is body dysmorphic disorder, or BDD. If a patient has BDD, surgical intervention can actually skyrocket their psychological distress if expectations aren't managed by a pro. Plus, there are real physical risks, right? Scarring, asymmetry, and that dreaded aesthetic overkill.
Because of all that, the golden rule in this field is so important. Subtlety often yields better long-term results. Going overboard and overcorrecting can lead to wildly unnatural appearances and even severe health complications. In this world, less is very often more.
Section 3. The reconstructive pivot. CIHSR's functional difference. Now this is where things get truly incredible. Imagine taking a severe post-trauma lip deformity and fundamentally correcting it using advanced aesthetic techniques. We're talking about the world's first lip trauma to cleft lip transposition. It's virtually guided surgery that takes a devastating injury and restores natural human form. And the best part? It's happening right here in the region at CIHSR.
And it's the exact same story for severe hand injuries, meticulously reconstructing damaged tissue after accidents, burns, or oncological surgeries. That is absolutely not about vanity. It is purely about restoring essential bodily functions. It's about giving a person back their independence and their livelihood.
Moving on to Section 4. Future tech, laser lipolysis, and MAFT.
Enter the Neo-V laser, an FDA-approved technological marvel originally from Israel. By applying this specific 1444 nanometer laser energy internally, surgeons are seeing unbelievably effective results for targeted fat reduction and skin tightening.
The way this works is actually fascinating. It's a purely thermal mechanism. The tech keeps the internal temperature strictly between 48 and 50 degrees Celsius. At that exact sweet spot, it seamlessly liquefies fatty tissue while coagulating blood vessels. So what does that mean for the patient? Far less physical trauma, way less postoperative pain, and get this, people are back to their daily routines in just a day and a half. Plus, it actually reorganizes collagen to give long-term skin tightening. That is a real game changer.
Okay, 1/240th of a milliliter. That number might sound incredibly small, but it is an absolute revolution in fat grafting. It represents the microscopic precision of the MAFT gun, which stands for micro-autologous fat transplantation. In the past, if a surgeon injected too much fat at once, the center of that little fat parcel wouldn't get blood supply and it would just die off. It's called central necrosis. But delivering fat in these microscopic 1/240th of a milliliter parcels ensures the transplanted fat actually survives, integrates, and thrives in its new location.
Pioneered by Professor Tai Lin over in Taiwan, this MAFT gun completely changes the math on fat transfer by laying down these tiny micro ribbons of tissue. Take hand rejuvenation, for example. Meticulously replacing that lost volume beautifully restores the structural youthfulness of the hand, and with a vastly higher success rate for the graft itself.
Section 5. Precision, Biomaterials and 3D Printing. For conditions like microtia, where the external ear is underdeveloped, what surgeons are doing today will blow your mind. They're taking highly specialized, resorbable biomaterials from Singapore, specifically a polymer called polycaprolactone, and using it to flawlessly reconstruct complex structures, like the intricate architecture of a human ear or a nasal septum. And that brings us to a literally visionary concept. Right now, CIHSR uses 3D printing to create highly accurate lab models and surgical templates. But the ultimate goal? Biomaterial 3D printing. Imagine a printer creating the actual biological scaffolding, custom designed to perfectly match a patient's unique mirror image anatomy. Flawless, customized reconstruction. That right there is the true frontier of medical science.
Section 6. The psychological impact, holistic healing.
Because at the end of the day, all this tech, the lasers, the 3D printing, it's really only half the story. Correcting a visible deformity, whether someone was born with a cleft lip or suffered a tragic accident, completely lifts the heavy mental burden of disfigurement. It cultivates positive body image and restores social confidence. Honestly, the psychological and emotional recovery facilitated by these procedures is just as vital as the physical healing. Which brings us to our ultimate takeaway. The future of CIHSR is aesthetic. But it's not aesthetic in the way we used to think about it. It signifies a future where advanced technology, functional healing, and true aesthetic mastery are seamlessly intertwined to serve the people of Nagaland and beyond. I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. If form restores function, and function restores confidence, isn't aesthetic surgery truly about healing the whole person? The work happening right now goes so far beyond skin deep. It is literally transforming lives from the inside out. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for this explainer. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I'll catch you next time.